The Strait of Hormuz remains in effect closed with a U.S. naval blockade still in place. About 3,000 Iran-bound containers are stranded in Pakistan as costs rise and Washington's signals shift. Iran is pushing diplomacy from Moscow to Islamabad. Can talks to end the US-Israel war still move forward? In this episode,
Australia is getting serious about making big tech pay for news. The country's government unveiled draft legislation on Tuesday that would require companies like Meta, Google and TikTok to pay for the journalism they aggregate or reshare, or face a levy on their local revenues, Communications Minister Anika Wells said at a press conference today. People are increasingly getting their news directly from Facebook, from TikTok and from Google. The US Supreme Court on Monday heard arguments in a landmark legal case that could redefine digital privacy rights for people across the United States. The case, Chatri v. United States, centres on the government's controversial use of so-called geofence search warrants. Law enforcement and federal agents use these warrants to compel tech companies like Google to turn over information about which of its billions of users were in a certain place and time based on their phone's location.
And the large taxpayer unit, LTU Islamabad of the Federal Board of Revenue, FBR, on Tuesday carried out a raid at the offices of Top City Housing Society, seizing important records over alleged tax evasion and financial irregularities. And sources informed pro-Pakistani that the action was conducted under Section 175 of the Income Tax Ordinance 2001, which authorises tax officials to enter business premises, inspect financial records and confiscate documents where there are reasonable grounds to suspect tax evasion or non-compliance. And the Foreign Office FO said on Tuesday that Cambodian authorities had agreed on the early repatriation of 54 Pakistanis arrested following a raid on a scamming compound. The statement came after reports emerged that more than 200 Pakistanis were in the custody of Cambodian police in overcrowded facilities and facing a lack of basic facilities. And Belarus has released Polish-Belarusian journalist Andrzej Poczobut from jail as part of a prisoner exchange. Poland's Prime Minister Donald Tusk confirmed the release on Tuesday, noting that Warsaw had been helped in a joint diplomatic push on Minsk by the United States, Romania and Moldova.
Mail Maldives. Police in the Maldives have raided the offices of a critical news outlet and barred its editors from leaving the country after it published a documentary alleging an affair between President Mohamed Muizzu and a former aide. The government on Tuesday defended the operation against Adhardu Online as a lawful response to what Muizzu has described as baseless lies.
a football match official who was a potential pick to work at the Men's World Cup in North America was arrested for an alleged sexual assault at a hotel while in Britain for a game. World Cup organizer FIFA said on Tuesday that it was aware of the serious allegation after details of an alleged assault of a teenage boy were first reported by British daily The Sun.
Gulf leaders have gathered in Saudi Arabia to discuss a regional crisis triggered by the United States-Israel war on Iran, their first in-person meeting since the outbreak of the conflict 2 months ago. The Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC leaders, were greeted by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman as they arrived in Jeddah on Tuesday, according to images released by Saudi state media.
When Chris Gray sold his Shark Tank-backed scholarship search startup Sholly to Sallie Mae in 2023, he thought he had it all. Now he's suing the student loan giant for wrongful termination and alleging that it's selling the data his app collected, which includes personal info on minors without properly informing users. Gray co-founded the company a decade prior with the hope of helping students more easily find college scholarships that were going untapped. Within 2 years, he nabbed Sharks Damon John and Lori Greiner as investors after an appearance on the show. A major individual milestone was recorded during the Pakistan Super League PSL 2026 as one of the tournament's leading batters added another achievement to his record. Peshawar Zalmi captain Babar Azam completed 500 runs in the ongoing season during the qualifier match against Islamabad United.
And the Punjab government has expanded the Green School programme across the province, bringing more than 26,000 schools under its scope to promote environmental sustainability. According to Silwat Saeed, over 7.6 million students and teachers have been registered under the initiative, marking a major step towards embedding environmental awareness in the education system. And employees of the University of Peshawar staged a protest on Monday over non-payment of salaries and pensions for March, highlighting a deepening financial crisis at the institution. A large number of workers blocked Jamrud Road outside the campus, chanting slogans against the provincial government and university administration.
Engro Polymer and Chemicals Limited has appointed a new chairman and chief executive officer following its annual general meeting. In a notice to the Pakistan Stock Exchange, the company said Ahsan Zafar Syed has been appointed as chairman of the board, while Abdul Qayyum has been named chief executive officer.
Health authorities have reported around 255 cases of leishmaniasis in lower South Waziristan, raising concerns about the spread of the disease in remote areas. District Health Officer Dr. Adnan said the health department is actively monitoring the situation and providing treatment facilities in affected regions. Islamabad. The National Electric Power Regulatory Authority, NEPRA, on Tuesday withdrew ab initio the requirement of a license, along with $1,000 per kilowatt licensing fee for solar net metering consumers with systems below 25 kilowatts. The development comes 2 days after the power division, facing severe public criticism for taxing sunlight, directed NEPRA to abolish the requirements.
And a major Russian oil refinery on the Black Sea has been hit for the third time this month by Ukrainian drones, causing a massive fire and forcing the evacuation of people living nearby. Local officials have said earlier strikes in the past 2 weeks at the Tuapse refinery caused a big oil spill in the sea. And residents reported black rain falling on the city and leaving an oily residue everywhere.
We called it moon dust. Jeffrey Camp, a 61-year-old retired military veteran who lives in Sarasota, Florida, says when describing the terrain in Maidan Shah, Afghanistan, where he served with the United States Army from 2008 to 2009, the fine particles of dust there would find their way into your vehicles, your equipment, your lungs. He says ruefully while describing the searingly dry summers and freezing windy winters in the eastern provincial capital. The Strait of Hormuz remains in effect closed with a U.S. naval blockade still in place. About 3,000 Iran-bound containers are stranded in Pakistan as costs rise and Washington's signals shift. Iran is pushing diplomacy from Moscow to Islamabad. Can talks to end the US-Israel war still move forward? In this episode,
Mali is reeling from attacks on army bases over the weekend that killed Defence Minister Sadio Kamara, his wife, 2 children and an unclear number of other people. Intermittent explosions continued around Senu International Airport south of the capital, Bamako, late on Monday, according to reports.
Egypt's plans to conduct live fire exercises in Sinai have alarmed Israel's residents and security officers on the other side of their shared border. Although the drills were coordinated with Israel within the terms of the 1979 peace treaty between the two countries, Israeli residents, including those living close to Gaza, are reported to be concerned about their proximity. Israeli media suggests that many fear a return to the conditions that preceded the Hamas-led attack on Israel on October 7, 2023, which killed more than 1,000 people, most of them civilians. Apple is giving App Store developers a new way to attract subscribers with lower-priced plans tied to a year-long commitment. The company announced on Monday it will introduce a new subscription option that lets customers pay for their auto-renewing subscriptions on a monthly basis while committing to a 12-month plan. This model will allow developers to offer discounted rates to customers in exchange for more predictable long-term revenue. This also caters to how many developers have already been marketing their annual subscriptions in their apps. Often, app developers will display the lower monthly price to highlight the discount the customer would receive if they purchase the annual subscription instead of the monthly option. If the user is on the fence about a longer-term commitment, the notion that they're getting a better deal can help to push them towards the annual option.
And the Prime Minister's office has directed all federal ministries and divisions that recruitment related to artificial intelligence, AI, including the creation of posts and hiring processes, will now require mandatory clearance from the Pakistan Digital Authority, PDA. According to official instructions issued by the PM office, AI-related human resource recruitment across the federal government will be placed under centralized technical supervision.
The Lahore High Court has dismissed an appeal filed by Honda Atlas Cars Pakistan, upholding the Competition Commission of Pakistan's authority to continue its inquiry into the auto sector. The court rejected Honda's intra-court appeal against an earlier decision that had already dismissed its challenge to the CCP's investigation.
The Punjab government has made the Green Property Certificate mandatory for all property transactions across the province from July 2026, aiming to curb fraud and ensure transparent land ownership. The certificate, issued by the Punjab Land Records Authority, verifies property ownership, confirms legal status, and ensures that land records are fully aligned with official databases.
And the National Electric Power Regulatory Authority, NEPRA, on Tuesday abolished the RS1 and 001 time fee and licensing keys for solar consumers installing systems of up to 25 kilowatts in both residential and small commercial settings, according to the Power Division spokesperson, and this follows special instructions issued by Federal Minister for Power Sardar Owais Ahmed Khan Lagari, after which the Power Division formally wrote to NEPRA requesting removal of the licensing condition for small solar systems.
Islamabad. Taking notice of deteriorating water quality in the country's rivers and irrigation systems, the Indus River System Authority IRSA has asked the provincial government's wastewater does not fall into rivers and natural streams. The water regulator has reported deteriorating water quality due to pollution, salinity, odor, etc. in the Indus Basin irrigation system.
Balaclavas and e-bikes have become the armour of teenage boys zooming around London streets, snatching mobile phones from unsuspecting commuters and tourists. As AFP joined a patrol on a sunny Friday night, police officer Hayden O'Connor spotted potential victims everywhere, people holding out phones to follow directions or listening to music. A manhunt has been launched in Athens for an 89-year-old suspect following a double shooting which left 5 people injured, according to police and local media reports. The attacker initially opened fire at a social security agency in Kerameikos on Tuesday, wounding an employee in the leg, police say.
A 21-year-old Austrian man has admitted plotting a jihadist attack on a Taylor Swift concert in Vienna in August 2024. The man, named only as Baron A, also admitted to being part of a terrorist organization, although he denied other charges, including involvement in planning an attack in the Islamic holy city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia.